Okay, can I get everybody's attention, please? Lloyd said he wanted to get this out of the way before everybody gets too cocked, but that's not going to happen. Come on. I just want to welcome everybody tonight and just acknowledge the fact that there are a lot of very talented people in the room, writers of various sorts, editors, booksellers, probably some filmmakers, photographers, etc. And one of the things I like about these little gatherings upstairs at the Old Court is that it does tend to draw from the cognoscenti, if you will, the artist crowd in and around Lowell. And just in conversations I've been having with people here tonight, we kind of like the idea that there is a very definite scene in Lowell, a scene of writers, painters, sculptors, artists of all kinds, and readers and people that appreciate art as well. And there are several people, myself among them, that have seen Lowell, that are not actually from Lowell, but have seen Lowell as rich territory to write about for detective stories. And Lloyd got introduced to me, I think, we actually had an email correspondence, but I think Manya Callahan, who's the manager of the downtown Barnes & Noble bookstore, was really the one that put us in contact. And then from that kind of flourishing connection, you know, other people that have sort of come aboard, Steve O'Connor's forthcoming novel, Spy in the House of Books. Steve, I get the title right? It's close enough?
City of Books.
City of Books. City of Books. Is going to be published by Sons of Liberty Publishing. Pierre Comtois, who's an editor of some renown and Sun correspondent and author of a number of books, is going to be doing a book with the same publisher. So meeting Lloyd, I think, has been an important part of the growing scene that is in Lowell, and I think his ability to kind of have a vision of an independent publishing company, one that's separate from the big publishers, which more and more I think have little desire to do much in the way of promoting their writers. So I think there's a niche that's being filled by the small press. So, all of that said, Lloyd's got a terrific series. This is the second entry in his Ronan Marino series of detective novels. Very hard-boiled. There's a lot of action, a lot of adventure, a lot of violence, a lot of sex, which are really, you know, the age-old ingredients of the story. You go back to the earliest stories. Go back to Bible stories. Sex and violence. So, without further ado, I'm going to have Lloyd up here, and he's going to read a passage from his newest novel. Jason, please.
I know that was a little strange that I came through that door there, but I always wanted to stay. I came through the stage door, so because I'm never going to get a chance again as a fledgling musician to do that. I wanted to thank everyone for coming out tonight. This means quite a bit to me, as you might imagine, and it's really interesting to see the different cross-section of people in my life who are here tonight. Back to high school classmates who, up until a few years ago, I probably hadn't seen for decades. There's folks like David, who I just met recently. There's folks in the book business like Dick Haley and Manya. Other authors I work with, like Stephen and Mike Gerard is here tonight. Pierre, folks that are in the radio industry, like Mike Flynn is here from WCAP, and then there's folks who heard about this event and came in. I hate to say off the street because that doesn't sound too nice, but they came in off the street. For the event. But anyway, I wanted to do a little bit of a reading because, after all, what the hell else am I going to do? Come up here and sing for you? You know, no, you don't want to hear that anymore. So those days are over, maybe. So Those of you who read the first book know that Ronan is a local Lowell private investigator. He's very wealthy, doesn't come from money, but he happened to win the California State Lottery, left the Air Force, moved back home to Lowell where he grew up, and now he's kind of doing his own thing and picking and choosing the kind of cases he wants to do, primarily to help folks out. And the tagline that I've used for the series is, "The best that money can't buy." So that pretty much describes Ronan and his philosophy and how he's going. So in the second book, with a baseball theme, Ronan is involved in a case where a college pitcher who is projected to go very highly in the Major League Draft has basically blown up in front of all the scouts who came to see him. Did very poorly. And his father asked Ronan, "Hey, can you look in and see what this kid's doing? What's wrong with him? I really can't figure it out." So Ronan starts to poke around, and while that's happening, there's an event that I'll jump right into in this reading to kind of lay out where Ronan's at in his investigation. I was dreaming again of baseball glory when I was startled by a ring of my phone. Instinctively, I picked it up on the third ring. When I was with OSI, I got used to answering the phone in the middle of the night when I was the duty agent, on call to respond at a moment's notice when the base needed me. The sun was up, however, so it meant it was later in the day than I thought. "Ronan, it's Garcia," he said in a somber voice. This couldn't be good. "Eddie, it's 6:30 in the morning. What is so damn important? You still working the Ty Wallace case?" "I wouldn't exactly call it a case. There isn't a damn thing going on with it." "There is now. Get your ass over to here to La Lodge Park." I got dressed and down there in 20 minutes and found enough police cruisers from the city and university to cover every roadside ditch digging overtime exercise in the state. I scanned the crowd of cops and spotted Garcia, who waved me over. "What do you got?" "Dead girl. Her neck looks nearly snapped in half," he reported. "Where was she found?" "Follow me." We walked around the side of the stadium to the service area in the back to the parking garage. A group of evidence techs were working the scene, snapping photos and taking measurements. Garcia motioned to a rusty blue dumpster. Inside was the body of the girl I'd seen Ty arguing with in Boston, still wearing the same clothes she had on yesterday. "Recognize her?" Garcia asked. "Sort of," I said. "I think she may have some connection to Tommy Fosco." "The ex-Red Sox player?" "One and the same." The dead girl's head was twisted in the direction that no living persons could ever turn. The queasy look on the face of some of the cops at the scene told me that this was their first time seeing a human life snuffed out in such a violent manner. After years of encountering death, it had little effect on me, and to be honest, it bothered me that it no longer made me sick to my stomach. "Any theories?" I asked. "Yeah, and you're not going to like it either." Shay came around the corner with Chief Marconi, and she looked a little surprised to see me. "Chief Marconi, this is Ronan Marino. He's a local private investigator," Shay said. "We've met," she replied coldly. "Why is a civilian here at my crime scene?" I really hated to hear myself referred to that way, despite it being true. "Ronan has been working a case that involves a suspect, and I thought he might be able to help," Garcia offered. I was confused. "Hold on. What suspect are we talking about here?" "Ty Wallace," Marconi said. "What makes you think he did this?" I asked. "Cronin," Shay barked, "bring over the evidence we found." One of the evidence techs stopped what he was doing and took a large, clear plastic bag out of one of the boxes and handed it to Shay. He held it up for me to see. In the bag was a university identification card belonging to Ty. "This was found on the ground near the dumpster," Shay said. "How do you think it got here?" I asked, knowing the potential answer, but feeling the need to ask an obvious question. "There might have been a struggle and it could have fallen out of his pocket," Marconi opined. "The team does practice at the stadium sometimes," I said. "He could have just dropped it here." They didn't yesterday, Marconi explained. I saw them out on the practice field. Everyone nodded. I figured it was unlikely, but a good detective considers all the options. You said you knew her, Garcia reminded. You were starting to tell me she had some connection to Tommy Fosco. I don't know her name, but yesterday I followed him to Back Bay, where Fosco's office is, and I saw them arguing. About what? I couldn't hear the entire conversation, but he was pretty pissed. Something about how could she do something to him. I nearly had to step in because the kid looked like he was about to blow a tumor. I also saw the deceased at the last game he pitched, the one he got blown out in. I was there and the stadium was packed. You recognized a single woman in that crowd? Marconi asked in a tone that said she was a bit unbelieving. I specifically saw Ty look up at her as he was pulled from the game and walking to the dugout. I only remembered her because of the way she was dressed. How was that, Mr. Marino? Marconi asked. Like a stripper. She raised an eyebrow. The chief probably didn't know too many strippers. Did you find a purse or anything to ID her? I asked. She may have a car parked in the area too. We haven't found one yet, but we're looking, Shea said. She could have been killed somewhere else in the body dumped here, I said. Tommy Fosco may also be able to ID her. Well, thanks for telling us how to process the crime scene, Marconi replied sarcastically. Just trying to help, Chief. It's what he does, Shea added, patting me on the shoulder. So. Thank you.